channel. Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Penchester United have returned. It's me, it's Chivy. United 3 points, Chivy. Very disappointing display performance-wise, I'd say. Like, we'll talk about some of the hospital passes and some of the mistreatment of the ball. But, yeah, going in, we got 3 points. We got a win. How are we feeling?
I mean, that was the bare minimum that we could ask for, to be honest. Just 3 points. As far as the performances, I'm not sure anyone was really surprised.
No.
I didn't expect that much going in as far as performing well. At this point, I just want us to get as much points as we can. However we do it, that's fine. But like, I wasn't really expecting much. I put it in the chat the other time. I said every time we had like a chance, like a fast break, and I just wasn't excited because I just knew like they'd fumbled it somehow. But yeah. To answer your question, yes, 3 points. I'm happy. It's 3 points on the board now between us and Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a game in hand, obviously.
Yeah.
But, it's on the board. So all we can do right now is just, hope to keep putting up performances. But we've still got... Have we played Spurs second leg? Or just
yeah. We played them home and away. Oh, you might be right, actually. I'll have a look at the fixtures in a minute. I'll see. But yeah, you might be right.
Yeah. So yeah, happy with the 3 points.
Yeah.
But that's about it, really.
Yeah. Obviously, 2 penalty decisions for me. Both definite penalties. Are you in agreement? Definite penalties.
Yeah. There's no. I don't think there's any doubts about either.
Yeah. No. And then Bruno tucked it away. Nice little penalty. Rashford. I was convinced he was going to miss. In my head, I was like, this is not going in, is it? Like, it's just not going to go in. And he did. Fair play to him. Tucked it away really nicely. So, yeah, all good on that front. That's the sort of... Well, let's talk about one more positive and then we'll get on to the sort of negatives. Garnacho. I thought Garnacho was a big fucking problem for Everton today. He was running at him, causing him all sorts of issues. Obviously, got both the penalties. Made a nuisance himself on the break. I know we'll talk on the negatives about the break. But yeah, what were your thoughts on sort of Garnacho's performance? Because I thought he was a real sort of nuisance for Everton today.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I'm very careful with the way I level criticism towards Garnacho because obviously, like, this is like his first full season.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, he shouldn't have this much responsibility on his hands. And
it's like was it 22nd game in a row he started? I think.
Yeah, so I'm really critical. I'm really careful with the way I level criticism towards him. Yes, the penalties are really good, and he was always a nuisance. But there's still a lot for him to learn in terms of timing his runs. We could have ended that game 4-0. Like if he timed some of his runs perfectly.
Yeah.
Timing his runs, sometimes the decisions he makes. But overall, I mean, it's he was instrumental in us getting the 3 points today. So I can't really level any criticism towards him. And yeah, he played really well. Played direct, which sometimes is just keep it simple. And he forced those penalties. Yep. Literally, he forced it on them. So yeah, I mean, props to him though. Props to him.
Yeah, and for me, he was like sort of probably one of the best players on the pitch. I'd probably give some props to Johnny Evans as well. I thought he was good, apart from one hospital pass, but we'll get into the hospital passes in a bit. I thought he was exciting, but again, like we've said this many times, it's hard not to compare him to Ronaldo because he's so similar to Ronaldo in a lot of ways. Not in the style, the way he plays, but just in the energy he brings, the willingness to go forward. And then when Ronaldo first came to United, he was so raw and he was giving the ball away and he was making wrong decisions. And eventually he got it right and he came good. And you just got to hope that Garnacho's in that vein. Obviously, Ronaldo's his idol and his hero. So you hope that he's going to do the same thing eventually. Less said about Rashford on the other side. Like Rashford, I thought he was better than he has been in previous games, but again, final third decision making, getting hold of the ball and trying to do something is just really, really poor for me. I don't know about you, but yeah, I don't know what you do with Rashford at this point, and I don't see any signs of like major improvement. But then, like, I don't see United willing to sell him either. I don't know what you do with Rashford at this point. What are your thoughts on Rashford?
He was quiet today. Apart from the penalty, didn't really do that much.
Yeah.
Didn't really influence the game. I could see that he looked eager. He was running.
Yeah.
He made a few track backs, which was kind of like uncharacteristic of
On the
Liverpool.
break, we were
Yeah,
dangerous, but we just final third, it just went to shit.
it just went to crap. Yeah. So with him, um, it's different now. Well, in the summer it will be different at Man United because
Yeah,
there's a completely different board setup now and a completely different set of people running the club. And from what I understand, Barada is one of them ruthless sort of people.
yeah. Is it one
So
season? He says or something like that. I think he's been quoted in a City documentary. He said, "Yeah, you get one season. If you're not performing for a season, then done."
yeah, and I mean right now it won't be such a bad idea to cash in on Rashford because we can still make money off
Yeah,
him at the moment. Um, I don't remember what I was watching. I came across it somewhere, but like maybe it might have been a Gary Neville podcast, I think. But they were talking about like Sergio Aguero. Like if he was at Man United,
still be
it
there.
wasn't. They would have just kept him and kept
Yeah,
him and kept him. But then they recognized the right time to let him go.
Sterling as
Even
well.
though, yeah, even though he's like probably the Mr. Man City, he's their legend. He won them their first League
Yep.
Cup, and So Rashford, I mean, in an ideal world, like it would be awesome to sell him, get some money off him, and just bring in this new breed of players. But sticking to the game today, he was really quiet. He wasn't shit. He was
No.
just an influence, just blended in really. Didn't really add much. So
Yeah, it's disappointing, isn't it? It's just disappointing. But let's talk on the negatives. I thought one of the worst parts of our game and what cost us a lot was our passing was abysmal today. I do not know what was going on. Casemiro was at it. Scott McTominay doesn't have a great passing anyway. He was doing it. Bruno, our passing is just every single pass was either overhit, underhit, inaccurate, just complete and utter mess all over the park from the passing, and it just let Everton back in because every time misplays pass, they're on their counter and they're gone. And we were so lucky that going forward they were awful and had nothing to offer because they could have easily scored a couple. Like there was the Dwight McNeil chance like for half time. That's a different game then. But yeah, just speak to me on the passing. Like, we just seem to be all over the place. There was a pass from Johnny Evans as well, back to Onana, just fucking straight across his goal, and he had to like run to get that. But yeah, just speak on the passing because I was looking at it going, this is awful. We're so bad at it.
yeah, I think we make it difficult for ourselves, to be honest. Especially like position wise, like a lot of the passes we make look risky.
Yeah,
If that makes sense, it's almost like they look really, really risky. And I don't know if it's a fine line between terrible decisions or just the positioning, being that lots of the players that we're trying to pass to are always surrounded by the opposition players.
yeah,
So a lot of the times, it's either going into a player who's under pressure or going into a player who has a man on him who can intercept the pass. And I think sometimes, and another thing that I noticed as well with the passing was there were times when we're in transition and we just take the extra touch.
yeah.
When
So
you see
frustrating.
yeah,
So frustrating.
when you see City play, you see Arsenal play, you see teams in Europe, it's just one time, one pass, one pass, one pass. And there was a time where I personally I thought Dallo for me was my favorite player today.
He was good.
He played
Yeah, he was decent.
every time I saw him, all decisions he made were always on point. Um, but then it started with him. He gets the ball, takes a touch, passes it. Casemiro takes the touch, passes it. Maino, and I was just like, if they had just moved that a bit quicker, this was in the first half.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was him. We would have been in the 18-yard box spot. I think it's just down to positioning. I think it's a confidence thing as well.
yeah,
I think the players are in a rut mentally. And it affects all these things because these are professional players. I mean, I watched a program on what it takes to be a Premier League player. It's not easy, bro.
No.
It's not easy being. I mean, in terms of like the skills you have to exhibit to actually pass, or to actually qualify to be it's crazy. So it's not like these guys can't pass; they can pass.
They just
They-
can't. They just can't seem to do it in game for some reason.
in game. Like, why is Everton passing better than us? It's not like they have players that are significantly better than ours.
Yeah.
It's just easier for them to do it because of the way they're set, or because of the way we allow them to play. So it's a combination of a lot of things. And I also wanted to add this before I forget. Like, you guys know I've been very critical of the manager for months now. And as much as I still think he bears a lot of criticism, sometimes the players actually have to take some of that blame.
Absolutely.
Because he doesn't make the decisions for them. Like they're the ones who are making these decisions. Yes, maybe tactically the position, it makes it hard for them to do that, but today a lot of it was on the players. A lot of it, like with the way they performed, and we managed to play an Everton team who let us off the hook because up until the penalty, we were second best.
It's awful, wasn't it? Up until the penalty.
Yeah.
There was.
So when Arsenal come to town, when Liverpool come to town, when it's curtains, man. It's curtains for us. Really.
There was on that like moment, that's taking the extra touch. There was a moment I remember. Bruno Fernandes receives the ball on the half turn, and he instead of like turning and just hitting the ball out to Garnacho, he takes a touch, looks around, and by this point Garnacho's offside, and then he hits the pass. And you're just like, for fuck's like, if you just hit it out your feet, he's in on goal. Because that Garnacho counter, because their fullbacks were so fucking high, that Garnacho counter was there every single time, and we could have just ripped them open continuously. But because Bruno's taking an extra touch, looking, and then seeing Garnacho, like, oh yeah, I'll pass it now, and it's too late, it's offside. It's just so frustrating to watch, man. Like, really frustrating.
Yeah, because they play the three central defenders. So every time, I've noticed this season that anytime we faced a team that played three at the back, we always had space to run into.
Yeah.
And this was just perfect because Mykolenko was the left-sided centre back in three. So that's why Garnacho gave him so much, grief today. And there were so many times when he could have, exploited it, but we just don't lift our heads up in time to spot the runs. And that's something that we need. But at this point, I mean, if it's taking us so long, I don't see us getting it right, because how many more games do we have to play? How many more examples do we have? Like, I don't have any faith in us turning it around at this point.
I don't. I think we get results like this where we get off the hook because the other team's more terrible than we are, and we get lucky breaks like penalties and stuff like that, or we're just going to get battered into the ground by better teams. That's kind of how it's going to go this season. Shrindy's in the chat. Rashford, Bruno, Casemiro, crying emoji. Aaron Gregory was so underwhelming in every area. Yeah, I agree. I'm sorry it's not Ten Hag, the players who are the issue. I think it's a combination of both, to be honest, Shindy. I think the players that we have don't suit the tactical style that the manager's trying to play, but at the same time you expect the players to do much better than they are doing with the simple things, with the passing and that kind of stuff, because it's on them once they step over that line. But yeah, I get you. I get your vibe. We're looking now that I think the next game is the Liverpool FA Cup game, I believe, after the international break. I think March 17th, I think. So I think we got an international break now till then. Is this just going to be like from now on, like you just mentioned? Are we just going to be like trying to play this transition team against these teams like Everton and stuff like that, and just hope we get somewhere? And then when we play the Cities, the Liverpools, we're sitting in like we did against City, like we did against when we played Liverpool. Do you think that's just going to be the pattern now for the rest of the season?
Well, what else can you? What else have you seen this season that can make you think otherwise? Like that, this is what it's going to be. This is the reality until the end of the season. I don't know if Sir Jim was at the stadium today. I hope he was. I really wish he was, or Brailsford, or like.
Gary Oldman was. Sorry? Gary Oldman was there.
Gary Oldman, sorry, one of my favorite actors, to be fair. Yeah. But I hope they were there to. I just wish they're there every time just to witness it, so they can see. It helps them make their decisions, because thankfully the people we have now on a board level are football people. Like, they know their stuff. Right? So hopefully they were there to watch it. I don't expect anything else. I expect a back to the walls performance when we play Liverpool, Arsenal, and I expect when we play the other teams on our level, for us to just hope that they don't take any chances and then we do. Because from open play today, there was no way we were scoring anything. No. Like, we were not going to score from open play. It was going to be some sort of... Yeah, it has to be dependence.
Severe lack of quality, wasn't it? Just severe lack of quality.
Just terrible. Just it's so terrible to watch. So terrible.
But yeah, the next.
So I don't know. Except you've seen something that gives you hope. I haven't. And,
No. I haven't. Next couple of fixtures. So we got Liverpool in the FA Cup on the 17th of March, Brentford, Chelsea, and then we got Liverpool again at Old Trafford in the league. Bournemouth, Newcastle, Burnley, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, your favourite fixture, Brighton, and the Brighton's the last game of the season. So that's
so Arsenal's the game before. Arsenal is like one of the last games.
Yeah, Arsenal is the 11th of May.
Shit.
Yeah, at home. So that'll be interesting. So we've got some big teams there. So like Arsenal at home on 11th of May, Newcastle at home on the 20th of April, and then Liverpool at home on the 7th of April. So
we've played Spurs already. That means we've played Spurs.
We played Spurs both times. They're the big fixtures that we've got coming up. So that'll be interesting to see. But Shrindy's in the chat. Rashford missed 2 chances, 2 easy passes. Garnacho, kid was free and waiting. I'm sorry, Rashford is selfish. I think a lot of players in our forward front line, Højlund aside, are in this, like Chibi said, this mental funk where they're so just like they want to be the hero and get us out of this. So they're being selfish and just like going, I'm going to score this goal and get us out of this, instead of looking up and going, right, what's the most chance I can create to give the team a goal, for example, like the cutback or the pass. I think that's the mode that everybody's in. Bruno's in that mode, Rashford's in that mode, Casemiro seems to be in that mode as well. Like it just seems to be this mentality.
It's like a panic mode. It's like a panic fight mode that they're in now, because it doesn't seem to me like they're thinking clearly. Everyone's just panicking.
Yeah.
And this is the energy I'm feeling from the manager through the players. Everyone's just on thin ice. It just seems like, so that's why you notice that after we scored the first pen, we kind of settled down a bit, okay, kind of calmed down a little bit. And then after we scored it, and then in the second half, there were periods where we weren't great, but we didn't look terrible. There was more confidence in the passing. There was a few passages of play on the right hand side from Dalot, Garnacho, Casemiro dropped in, even Varane would drop in, and there were a few patterns of play, of passing there, which was quite neat and decent. But it just seems to me like everyone's just panicking at the moment. And when you have this thing where I've heard it a few times over the past couple of months, where the manager said, and the players have said it as well. Garnacho said it today after the game during his interview. He said every game is a final. Yeah. This is what he said at this point, that every game is a final. You can't. The
pressure you're putting on yourself every single game.
You really cannot. Just you have to be able to think clearly to be able to play with some level of confidence, right? And this is what I feel they're going through now. I'm just almost mentally checked out for the season already.
It's fucking stupid, isn't it? How the past 4 seasons, we've just checked out by the new year. We've just checked out of the season. Like Ragnick, we were just fucking done with it. The last bit under Ollie, done with it. The last bit under Jose, we were done with it. We were just
last season was the only one where it was kind of. Well, it felt good again.
And we had stuff to look forward to last season. We got the Carabao Cup win, then we had the FA Cup final. So even though the FA Cup final, it wasn't great, but we still got to a final, which was exciting in the first time. We finished 3rd, which was good. Do you know what I mean? There was decent stuff for us to hold on to. Whereas this season, there's nothing. It's fucking nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, you see what really frustrates me about this season is I don't mind. It's not like I don't mind, but even if we're losing and not scoring many goals, I'd like to see a style of play that I can believe in. So I hate to use this example, but like Arsenal did. So they went 8th, 5th, and then 2nd. So 8th, it was terrible. 5th, the first when they did 5th, it was disappointing for them because they were in 4th place. They were in the top 4. You could still see there was reason to believe. Yeah. So even when they were losing, even when they were being outplayed at certain times, there was still a reason to believe. I don't mind if we come 7th or 8th. I just need something that I can see that, right, it's going wrong now, but in the next year or so, it would be, when all the dots connect, it would be flawless.
You need to see those shoots, don't you? Those shoots of sort of potential, something that's could be good.
Exactly. Style of football. Even if it's this transitional thing, I prefer to have a controlled system, but that's just me, just for
Yeah.
Even if you have this transitional idea that he has, I'd like to see that it has a future, like there's something sustainable. I don't see that at the moment.
There's no period. There's no periods, is there, in any game, even for like 15, 20-minute periods where you go, that's what he's trying to do. I see it. Like, I see what he's trying to do, and you never see it. You don't see it in any game.
Exactly, and it's the same copy and paste approach every single time. And this is so my criticism of Ten Hag isn't personal, isn't towards him. It's just that he doesn't give me anything to believe in.
Sure.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I counted 3 separate times in this game where it was either Jimmy Garner or no, I believe it was Jimmy Garner, was alone
in the midfield. Yeah, I saw that.
In the midfield, literally just at the edge of our box, 3 different times, because there was miles of space around him.
You look at our midfield, like you got Bruno, who wants to be a striker, doesn't he? That's what he wants to do. You got Scott McTominay, who wants to be a striker, and then Casemiro is marauding all over the pitch, doing God knows what. So it's literally Kobbie Mainoo's the only guy who's got any sort of defensive thing, but he can't do it all by himself. And then he's just got James Garner by himself on the edge of the box.
You have is, basically what you have is Kobbie and Casemiro constantly trying to put out fires, and then they're caught out in different positions of the pitch, and then you have a sole Everton man in the middle, right at the edge of our 18-yard box. And what that means is that he has time to think.
Yeah.
So he has time to spot a pass, and so that's why they always look threatening. There was another time when Everton had a throw-in their half, in the second half. Who's pressing on the side? Victor Lindelof is right up there pressing. And I'm thinking, like, what's he doing up there?
You aren't quick enough to do this shit. Like, you're not fast enough to... If you don't get this ball, you're not fast enough to get back.
He's pressing, just when I was thinking it, they get the ball and then they just lob it over. Yeah. And then it's like, it's a 3-on-2. And I'm like, so, but why I'm saying this is because, Sam, if you go back to all the videos we've done, we say the same thing every single game. There's nothing, and it worries me because if I can see it, then opposition managers can't see it.
Oh, definitely.
And everyone else can. So, but why doesn't our manager see it and try to change it? What is this? So I don't know.
This transitional style, like you said, whether it's the manager, whether it's the players, maybe it's a combination of both. It just leaves us with like more holes than Swiss cheese when we don't have the ball. Like we have the ball and we look threatening going forward, and as soon as we lose the ball, it's just like gaps all over the pitch, and we have no idea what we're supposed to be doing. Nobody idea where to sit back, where to put. Like it just seems to be disconnected individuals trying to figure something out. It's insane.
We're constantly outnumbered in the midfield, and today could have actually been a lot better because, to a certain extent, like every time we got the ball and gave it up to Bruno, who was on the halftime, he was either looking to Rashford or Garnacho for the breaks, which is fine, right? I don't have any problem with that. The problem I had with the only issue with that is if he's at the top of that midfield, if he's on top of the midfield, then McTominay should be covering behind him.
Yeah, but he's past him. He's running past him.
Like this. So literally, once they get the ball, if we lose it, and then McTominay isn't covering. McTominay is actually thinking, well,
I'm going to score.
Yeah. I need to go. Yeah. So then we're lost at the back already. And then Kobbie is somewhere else. It's like, man, if we can just get just this one thing right, just be a little bit conservative. Like that's all I ask. But,
it's so like I don't want to disparage Scott McTominay because I've said like after he's pulled that ass, I don't want to disparage him. Like I don't, but he's not suited for that role. Like he cannot play that midfield role. Like he's not that guy.
If he's going to play, just play him as a 9.
Yeah. Just tell him you don't have to come back. You just stay there. Just stay there, and we'll get the ball to you. Don't do anything else. Just stay there.
Yeah. Just you're not a midfielder anymore. Yeah. I know. Yeah, you wear number 39. Give me the 3. Keep the 9. Yeah, just go up there.
Yeah, it's frustrating. There's a couple of quotes. I'll just read these out. Wayne Rooney, Garnacho's best player on the pitch. Ten Hag on Garnacho is progressing well. Pleased with this. His contribution was huge. We could have easily scored 3 or 4 goals. Yeah. We defended very well. If you see the XG, it's much higher than Everton's. I don't know. In the build-up, I think we could be more calm and composed on the ball. Yeah, I agree there. Varane, 3 points. My favourite mascots. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, Reds. Oh, I think it was his kids. I think his mascots. I think that's what that was. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any like actual quotes come out that are just not like general. Oh, we played well. 3 points. Keep going. Blah blah blah. Yeah. There we go. Ten Hag. He's progressing very well. We're very pleased. His contribution was huge. His runs, his dribbles, attractive as well for the audience. Obviously, we want to show something. I think the penalties were well deserved. I agree. Let's see if there's anything else.
Go on. Sorry, go on.
Some stats from Diego Dallo: 100% cross accuracy, 89% pass accuracy, 42 passes, 3 clearances, 2 out of 3 tackles, 1. So yeah, there you go. Right, Dallo's played well.
Personally, this is what worries me about the manager. Like when we have terrible games, his comments about the games are just is completely different. Like there's nothing, there's no taking responsibility, not saying, oh, we could have been better or blah blah blah. He's out there just saying, yeah, we did well and blah blah blah, and then he talks about the injuries. Like this is so when people call him delusional or when people go at him, it's hard to defend him.
I think he's just in survival mode, isn't he? He's just trying to get to the end of the season and just hope he qualifies for the Champions League. I think that's all he's trying to do at this point. I think he's thrown style of play and trying to tweak stuff out the window. I just don't think it's a thing anymore. But it's what it is. Last couple of comments. Aaron Gogan, the amount of times we put ourselves in trouble by trying to play out from the back, there's no organisation. Ends up going sideways instead of forward every single time. There's nothing to believe in. Aaron is not in a good mood apparently in the chat. He's very upset.
Nope.
But yeah, that is the review, Chivy. Unless there was anything else I didn't touch on you wanted to bring up.
Onana,
yeah, please do. Go for it.
Decent, yeah, did all right. Had a few saves. They all looked comfortable, apart from the Ghana one. The one where Ghana blasted.
Yeah.
But no one's going to catch that, really.
No.
But I think he looked comfortable. He commanded his area well.
He's improved, hasn't he? He's improved last couple of weeks.
He's improved quietly, silently, which is quite impressive.
Yeah.
I can't blame him for any of the goals against City or Fulham.
No.
Yeah, I can't blame him. So yeah, that's one positive there.
Yeah, I think he has improved, and I think there's still a bit of a bias. Obviously, his Champions League performances were abysmal, and I'm not going to try and defend them because they were horrible and it was just ridiculous. But there's still people who are like going on at him and like calling him shite and stuff like that, and I just think you don't watch games, man. Like you don't watch games properly, because if you watch the games, he has actually improved significantly.
So much better, yeah. I want him to lose weight. I just want to see him a few kilos lighter when he comes.
Maybe in the summer. Maybe in the
summer. He looks a bit heavy to me.
Yeah,
like,
he does. He does look like a big lad. He does look like a big lad. But maybe he'll do that in the summer. Maybe because our medical department needs fucking sacking. By the way, just give them the boot. Jesus Christ, fucking Ten Hag. Because like, oh, I got rid of Reguilon because the medical department said Malacia would be back.
Yeah.
What's the fuck?
To be fair to Ten Hag, I don't think that was his. I don't think those were his decisions, to be fair. I don't think it was the manager that said get rid of such. I think there would have been other decision makers.
No. He said he wanted to keep him, and then he asked the medical department, and they were like, yeah, you'll have Malacia and Shaw back, so we can let Reguilon go. So
yeah,
I think managers want more options. Always want more options, don't they? They always want more options. So
yeah, I think when he would have liked to keep them, but yeah. Basically, I think what I'm trying to say is I don't think he had final say as to get rid of them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was daft because even though Luke Shaw was back, it was clear that he wasn't.
We know his history. We know his history as well, Luke Shaw.
Yeah, he's never going to be there forever. He's never going to be fully back. Malacia as well. If you're just coming off a long-term injury, you have to have a plan C.
Yeah. And we let both of them go. We let Alvaro go, and then we gave Reguilon away back. So it's just like you've just given away 2 options, And then you're only then one injury away from having no fullbacks because Wan-Bissaka and Dalot are your only fullbacks. And if one gets injured, which just happened to Wan-Bissaka gets injured, and you're like, it's just
like, what injury? Like,
I don't know.
Is this still the same thing that Ten Hag
personal injury? Don't know what it is. No idea what it is.
He has a problem with his leg.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Do you want to be more specific? Groin, knee? Like, what's going on? I've no idea what it is.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, that is the review. Manchester United have won 2-0, 2 penalties from Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. We plough on. The international break is now on. City and is it City and Liverpool tomorrow? Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be like picking somebody to shag your wife, isn't it? In terms of who wins.
Well, we have absolutely no business watching that game. Like it's
just horrible.
We're nowhere near that conversation.
No. So they play tomorrow.
With Tottenham and Villa. That's where we are.
But yeah, the international break. I think Jay Motti is coming on next week. I spoke to him the other day, so that'll be cool. And then we're gonna we'll probably try and fit in an after dark or something. I think that will try and shoot my international break results. I think that'll be good. And then there'll be lots of other shows. But yeah, please subscribe if you're new here. If you're watching it on demand later, please do leave a comment with your thoughts. Love to read that. Follow us on all the socials. They're above my head there. Appreciate you coming on, Chivy, as always. It's always nice to chat football, even when it's a fucking abysmal display like we just watched. But yeah, United have won, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
We want blaze out, and we want blaze out.